what does the Bible teach about business? That's what we'll uncover together on the Business in His Image podcast. This show explores strategies from the Bible that will help you grow your business, strengthen your walk with Jesus, and help you reach your God-given potential as an entrepreneur. The Bible is filled with practical wisdom to help you live for God while using your gifts. Let's unpack what that means for you and how you can use biblical truths to build a thriving business that honors Christ. Now it's time to dive in. Want to know how you can grow your email list? Today, I'm going to share 3 things that will help you get to your first or next 500 subscribers. So you'll want to listen until the end. This is actually a portion from an interview I did on the Subscription Box Basics podcast with host Julie Ball. I thought it would be really helpful for you. So I'm going to share it here with you today. Let's dive in.
I've got a special guest today. Her name is Jo Harris, and she is a conversion copywriter. So basically, she writes high converting sales copy. That means it makes sales. And she's here today to teach you 3 ways you can build an email list. Oh, I'm so excited to hear your take on things. Before we jump into the 3 ways, like what really is copywriting? Because you said just writing isn't high converting sales copy. So dissect that for us.
Oh, that is such a great question, Julie. I love this question. So a lot of people don't know what copywriting is, and I understand, right? And they can confuse it with things like blog writing or writing social media captions and things like that. So copywriting in essence is advertising. It's speaking in a way that resonates with the reader to get them to take an action. So sometimes, and most of the time, that involves selling a product or service. Sometimes it's just getting them to take an action, and it's not necessarily selling them something in exchange for money, but it's selling them on an idea, on whatever action that you want them to take. And that's different from content such as a news article or a blog post or social media captions, which can inform, educate, or inspire the reader.
So you're thinking like, join my email list. You need some really good copywriting to get them to take that action.
Yes.
All right. Exactly. All right. Well, give it to us. Tell us some ways that we can grow our email list. And as we know, I would just be honest in that if someone said social media versus email, which converts better, every single time I'm going to say email.
Absolutely. And that is true across industries for sure. And so, email marketing is so important. And I'll add this to piggyback on what you said. You don't own your social media account, right? Yeah. So anything can happen to it. We don't want to think that way. And hopefully nothing happens, but you don't own your social media account. So when the algorithm changes or the interface changes or the brand name changes, like it did with Twitter, you have no control over that. So you need a way that you can stay connected with your audience. And when you have their email address, you have your audience in your back pocket. Yeah. You can reach out to them anytime, and you know that most likely that email is going to land in their inbox versus social media posts. You don't know if they're even going to see it. A very small percentage of people are going to see that post versus the percentage of people that are going to see your email in their inbox.
Yeah. Okay. Give us some tips.
Okay. So number 1 is that you really need to give people a strong reason to give you their email. You don't want your newsletter, your email list to be all centered around just your product, right? You want to think about what value can I give that piggybacks on my offer, that adds more context, more value. So one way to do that is to create what is called a lead magnet. And that simply is just a digital product, usually a digital product that you deliver for free in exchange for their email address. I really have to hit on this because it's so important to think high value. People are inundated now with marketing. It's not enough to be like, join my email list. Or let's stay connected, or here's a coupon, right? That doesn't always work. People are so much more hesitant now. So you want to think about, what is this doing for my customer? What problem is this solving? And then taking that and thinking about, what kind of content can I create around this in my email that's going to add more value? And if you think about it from a point of how can I serve better instead of just how can I get more email subscribers and keep them, then you are going to win with email for sure.
Love it. Okay, let's just have some fun and let's brainstorm some lead magnet ideas.
Some ideas that come to mind for me is you can start a simple And I always recommend starting simple, right?
Mhm.
Because if you try to aim too high, then you get overwhelmed and you don't want to do
Yes,
it. So
it's so
start with
true.
something. Yeah, exactly. It's true for all of us, even me.
Yeah.
So start with something simple, like it could be a checklist or a template. And then from there, you can build on it and grow into a video training. And by doing that, like you're giving more value, but you're also tying it back to your offer to help
Mhm.
you be more profitable. You could create something like how to XYZ in 20 minutes. Like I love the quick win idea. And when you get really specific like that, it really draws people in. Oh, only 20 minutes to get over my imposter syndrome or something like that. Super valuable. Yeah.
And so true. I know that even we are created today in this podcast, we have 3 ways to grow your
Yeah.
email
Yeah.
list. When you break it down into manageable chunks like that, it is
Mhm.
such an easy, like you said, quick win. Like it's quick for us
Yeah.
to create, but it's also a quick win for the recipient. They can get it and they're like, okay, which of these 3? They're not going to have like analysis paralysis. They're like, let's pick one of
Mhm.
these 3 ideas and roll with it.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it simple for yourself and
Yes.
then build on it. That is like one of the best things that you can do for yourself.
Okay. Carry on with your tips.
Yes. Okay. So the second one, I am a big believer in this one. Okay. That is to set incremental milestones. And what I mean by that is if you are starting your email list from scratch, for example, and you think about how can I get 500 subscribers, that is going to overwhelm you so much. And it's going to feel like this mountain you cannot climb. So, what I recommend doing, and I teach this in my email marketing course, List Lingo, is to start with your first 10 subscribers. Because if you can make a list of 10 people who might be interested, most likely you can,
Yeah.
then that is so much more manageable and you're most likely going to convert those people. They're going to be interested in your lead magnet, in what you're doing. And so that's going to give you a quick win that in turn gives you momentum. When you have momentum, you feel encouraged to keep going and keep pushing forward. But when
Mhm.
you have this big lofty goal of 100, 500, 1,000, and you're trying to hit the goal without looking at the steps you need to take to get to that goal, it's going to feel hard. So break it up into incremental milestones. Maybe give yourself a certain amount of time and say, within this amount of time, my goal is to get 10 people on this email list. Once you got 10, get your next 10, right? Get to
Mhm.
20. And then your next goal can be 50, and then bump it up to 100, and then to 150, and then keep going up from there. And it's going to feel so much more doable when you do it that way.
Yeah. And celebrate those wins in
Yes.
between along the
Yes.
way. Yeah. Yeah.
And the higher quality of the lead, and when I say lead, what I mean is like the users in your list,
Mhm.
the higher interest, the more likely you're going to have a higher percentage. So it is good to make sure that you are targeting people who do have a genuine interest and you're not just
Yeah.
chasing the numbers.
Exactly. You find out where your target audience is hanging out. You've done the work. You've thought about who is this person? Where do they shop? What are their hobbies? You've thought about that as you've niched down. Okay, bring on the rest of the tips.
My third tip is to consistently send irresistible emails. This is really important because once you get people on your list, you have to understand that they can unsubscribe anytime. And so you want to make sure that you are consistently giving value and making your emails fun and enjoyable. What is it doing for your customer? What problem is it solving? Things like that. And then create those emails and also at a regular cadence. Are you going to send out one email a week? Are you going to send out 2 emails a month, a monthly email? Whatever you do, you just want to be consistent. So think about what you can manage, okay? And then you can always increase from there. If you can manage only 2 emails a month, but you make those emails really good, that's better than you scrapping something together that's subpar and writing every week. So always focus on quality over quantity, but just make sure that you are consistent. Some tips I have there is infuse your personality. It's like giving them a taste of that to make them excited to buy from you and partner with you in this journey that they're on. And also, you do want to promote your business within your emails, but just make sure that you are keeping your customer the hero in the story that you're telling. Because I think a lot of businesses, because they just don't know, they make the emails very focused on their product, on their business, on their service, whereas that's going to turn people away. So just make sure you are speaking to one person, make sure each reader is feeling like you are speaking directly to them, and make them the center of that universe, the center of that story that you're telling.
Oh, that's so interesting to think about how I would maybe go back and flip the script on some of my own emails. I love that concept, making them the hero of the story.
Yeah, exactly. And think about like small things that you can do to bring extra delight. So at the bottom of your email, can you add a little life hack that's going to add that extra delight, that extra joy, and give more value? Maybe it's a list of some books or podcasts that you're listening to related to the
Value.
theme. Yeah,
Yeah.
like just make it fun, infuse personality, and just think about your customer as your friend. How would
Mhm.
you talk to your friend? What recommendations would you give to your friend? How would you write this email to a friend?
Yeah. One of the things that's really helped me in writing my own emails lately, we shifted our email template to be section because it allowed me to compartmentalize what I wanted to share with them when I sit down and I write. I don't feel overwhelmed. And what's one quick tip?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I do something similar with my emails. I usually start out and I'll share something inspirational that is going to like really help people move forward in their business.
Uh-huh.
And then I also share like a podcast episode. And then I'm an entrepreneur of faith, so I'll share a Bible scripture. And
Nice.
it's just like creates this like regular cadence for me where I know in my template what I'm going to write there. And another tip I have is keep like maybe in your phone, like a notes app or something like that, ideas that come to you.
Great idea.
Because I've noticed that the best ideas come when you're not trying to think about them. You
Mhm.
could be walking down the street, driving somewhere, just
Mhm.
waiting in line. And so you're going to get all these great ideas. And then when you sit down to write, you may not get those ideas. So having a bank of ideas that you
Yes.
got throughout the week, it's really going to help you and set you up for success. That's something that has really helped me.
I do the same thing. I feel like we're on the same wavelength here. I use the built-in reminders app. Are you familiar with that on the iPhone?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what I love about that is it puts it in a little list. And so I can make my big long list of maybe it's email ideas or podcast episode ideas. And then as
Yes.
I do them, I click off the list and then it disappears. It's just so satisfying to
Yeah,
check
yeah,
something off a
it
list,
is.
right?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I've done the same thing in my notes app, make it a bulleted list. And then,
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said, check them off as you go so you remember what you already talked about.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, these are such good tips. They're simple tips. They're not going to be overwhelming. Thank you so much. Now, I know you have a email marketing course. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about that?
So the course is called List Lingo. And it's a very ABC 1, 2, 3 kind of course because what I have found is that a lot of entrepreneurs, when they're starting out, they know that they need to build an email list, but it feels really intimidating. They
Mhm.
don't know all the marketing lingo. They don't know what steps they need to take, or they might be intimidated by like the technical side of it of like how to set it up. So what I did is I created a starting from scratch course
Mhm.
that walks entrepreneurs through how to build an email list from zero and get their first 500 subscribers. And I walk them through every single aspect of it, everything from how to create their lead magnet, how to even write copy for their landing
Love
page.
it.
I teach them the technical side of setting it up. And then I teach them how to actually grow their email list and different strategies that helped me. And I also include some advanced strategies as well so that when they get past those milestones, they know what direction to take to create
Mhm.
even more momentum with that.
So it sounds like it's this marriage between the skill sets needed for email marketing and copywriting. And if you're
Yeah.
listening and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, imagine if I had 500 people on my email list, what that might mean for my business,
Yeah.
then you definitely need to check out Joe's course. So we'll make sure we have all the links in the show notes. If you want to tell everyone where they can find that and where they can follow you
Yeah.
online too, we'll make sure that we put those in the show notes as well.
Absolutely. So you can find the course at The Virtual Mama, and that's mama.com/list lingo. And you can also connect with me on Instagram. I'm very active there. My Instagram is at The Virtual Mama, MAMA.
Perfect. Thank you so much again, Joe. This was a lot of fun talking
It
through this with
was.
you.
Thank you for
The
having
tips were
me.
great. And I hope to see and hear about a lot of our students taking action based off of what you've shared.
Oh my gosh, yes, me too. And honestly, if you're listening and you take action on any of these steps, hit me up on Instagram and
Yes.
let me know so I can celebrate that with you. Thank you for having me. All right, friend. Hope you enjoyed that interview. If you want to listen to the full episode, you can go over to Julie's podcast. I'll link that in the show notes. I hope this episode blessed you. Remember to please rate and review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen so that more people can be blessed by this podcast. Until next time, bye. Thank you for listening to the Business in His Image podcast with me, your host, Jo Harris. If this show has blessed you, please share it with a friend and subscribe so that you can be notified when we release new episodes. My prayer is that God will help you soak up every bit of what you've heard today and help you apply it to your business so that you can see results. I'll see you next time, and may God bless you.